Hi everyone, this is Sergio from thegamer.com, and today I'm excited to share a couple things from Wizkids, who make a lot of the Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder miniature figures for your player characters or for DMs to use as monsters to kill the player characters, if you're so inclined. There's three big things I'm going to show you. First is going to be for the players, and we'll start off with these little ones. They're called Icons of the Realm, and these are pre-painted figures that Wizkids puts out with basically template D&D characters, like if it's your first character ever. You just kind of want to get back to basics, for something for a one-shot, you want to throw it out quickly without thinking too much about a crazy build. These are your kind of template player's handbook characters. They're gorgeous pre-painted figures. Wizkids is really stepping up their painting game. The first one I want to show you here is this one, the Orc Fighter. And this is if you want to play, a two-handed fighting orc character. She's got a great axe going on, like really nice work on the armor here, the cape, even a little bit of a ground but underneath her, so you're not just sticking her onto a plain base. It does come with the black base, however, so if you want to just stick it on there and throw it out right for game day, you can. Now there's 9 of these, so that was the first one. Second up is a human rogue. This is your kind of standard dual-wielding rogue. Again, pretty simply get leather armor, dagger and rapier. There's always going to be a little bit of issue with these figures of the swords. The longer they get, the more they kind of bend, but pretty good job here what they did with this one. And speaking of long swords, you have a human cleric. Surprisingly not a shield cleric, not a spellcasting cleric. This is a kind of straight up melee cleric. You could even use this for a paladin if you wanted to. Again, very straightforward, blue and white painted figure. If you can see on the close-up here, one thing they're still kind of working on is faces. This guy, he has a little bit of derpy eye, so it's always going to be a thing you run into. Even Hero Forge doesn't always get the faces right. One thing you can usually get the faces right on, however, is a Dragonborn. This is my personal favorite. This is Dragonborn Sorcerer, and he's based straight up off the one in the PHB Player's Handbook. He's got the cool, traditional Dragonborn clothing. Obviously you want to play a fire-based caster. He's got a little ray of energy going there. I think it's really cool. This is a great starting figure for a Dragonborn character. Next up, back to humans, we have Human Ranger. Again, basic archer ranger with green clothing. Humans seem to be pretty popular for this set. I don't know why they did so many of them, but I guess because everyone loves playing variant human. You can get whatever class of human you like. Another really top-notch one from this set is Human Warlock, and this is really cool if you want to play a kind of necromancer type character, someone who's made a dark deal with a dark entity. He's got his bony staff. He's got a little mustache goatee thing going on here, which is a great way to get around the kind of problem with faces you get with these figures. Just throw some facial hair on there. It kind of takes away from maybe the derpy eyes and mouth that can sometimes happen. Going on with that, there's the half-elf bard, and you can see she's got a little bit of a issue with the face with the lipstick, but they tried to make lipstick work. Doesn't really work on this small level of detail, but other than that, you have a very expressive figure. She's about to sing a song, so if you're really into playing support bards, this is a great starting point figure for you. And then finally, switching away from humans, we have the Dwarf Paladin, raising his sword on high, looking very triumphant. Very nice if you want to play any kind of armor dwarf. It could be a Dwarf Fighter if you wanted, or a Dwarf Cleric if you're going for a War Cleric. So it's nice that some of these have some great versatility. And then this one here, finally we ended up with an Elf Paladin. The elves get a little bit of work here. This is your shield and mace paladin. Again, it could double as a cleric if you want to go for a life cleric build. Very nice kind of woodland green paint job, multicolored hair. But overall, a very nice set. The paint jobs are really coming along. There's great details. Again, some faces are going to be better than others. That's just the price you pay when you get to these small level figures. On the opposite side of the spectrum, this thing comes along, and this is part of the new Fangs Talons set, which Wizkids is putting out. It's basically all kinds of monsters of D&D. This guy comes by himself as a $49.99 suggested retail price. It is the Purple Worm. Some amazing details. If you want to be really cruel, you could, have this thing eat one of your players and show the player what it's like as their poor little human rogue takes their final breath. Overall, very impressive piece. This is something you'd probably be using in many campaigns to come if you invest. It's really a testament to the quality they put into their figures. And then from there, if you don't want to necessarily spend everything on this one guy, Fangs Talons is also coming as booster packs. So for about $15, you can get one pack. It'll have 3 different minis in there, usually 2 smaller ones and 1 bigger one. And Wizkids sent us a sample of a few of these to kind of show you what they are. I'm going to run down the kind of list of them. So there's a lot, and they're varied, and they're really cool. First one up here is a green hag, perfect if you're running Curse of Strahd Remastered. Got a little basket of a human skull. That's great. But classic hag for your campaigns there. On the entire opposite side of that, from the weird magic lady, is this little robot. It's got like 3 eyes on each side. If you wanted to get into the weird mechanical history of the drones, there's a little foot soldier for you. Toss a bunch of these at your players. Very interesting, weird little thing. Great for Eberron campaigns too, if you're going in that direction. From there we have the gas spore. Another really weird, freaky monster. It's actually like a large creature, you can see by the base. Not much to say about this one other than throw this at your players for a really WTF response. And if you're Avernus campaigns, we have an incubus. He's really, really cool. You can take him off the ground with his wings, he's got his tail. Another good example of a great paint job. The face is actually really nice on this one. He's got this kind of tempting expression. He's like beckoning you to come with him. And then a Tabaxi fighter. This is one of the few in the Fangs and Talons sets, because again, Fangs and Talons is more about monsters than it is like player characters usually. But Tabaxi can be used as player characters. So if you have a Tabaxi fighter that you're working on, it's a nice like little leopard print Tabaxi here. Very cool, very interesting. And moving on, we have a Banshee. Again, great for the Strahd campaigns, the horror campaigns. She's got like a translucent thing going on. It's a really cool little detail they did it before with Rime of the Frost Maiden. They had the Frost Maiden herself have kind of a translucent cape. It was all glittery. It was kind of cool. Great technique again for ghostly characters. And then finally, the little one's gone. We have a couple bigger boys coming up here. This one I thought really interesting. This is a green slod. In the slods, you may know, they like to implant eggs in hosts. They have almost an alien feel to them. So I thought it was kind of cool that this slod actually has a more kind of tribal like World of Warcraft shaman thing going on. I didn't realize that slods kind of had that culture to them. So this character could actually be used in different ways. It could be a minion that they encounter in a battle. It could be an interesting, important NPC quest giver, but you have some options with this green slot. I really like the figure and the detail they put it in. Very unique expression and clothes they've put him in. Even going even bigger, we have a Yuan-Ti Anathema. This 5-headed snake monstrosity. This is a little bit less of the NPC quest giver, more just throw something really scary at your players kind of monster. Then we have 2 back-to-back that again are more scary foot soldier types. This is a fire elemental. You know, not much else to say about that. Again, cool paint job. He's got a bit of a translucent thing to him, but also kind of solidity there. A little expression you can see in the flames. Really cool how they managed to put so much expression in what is really just kind of a monocolor monster. And then likewise for the air elemental, who's next. Again, just living twister. You can almost see this like scream that he's got forming in his mouth. It's really cool how they managed to carve out those expressions. And then also a very fun little expressive guy over here. We have a Merid. Seems to be some kind of water-dwelling genie type creature. Actually, I'm not really familiar with these too much, but you can see he's got like a little water twister for feet. You can do some interesting things, I imagine. He must have some spell-casting abilities that you can throw at your players. It'd just be a fun, weird kind of guy to throw into a battle. And finally, for the hulking monsters, we have... This one's really cool. This is a fire giant skeleton, and I love how he's got like this kind of normal-sized head and this big, chunky armor. He is a large creature. He's got half a broken sword. Really interesting, just cool design. I really enjoy this one. Just tough-looking guy. One more. Sorry, this is also a large creature, but it's a little bit not as big as you would think. A good old aboleth. If you know these guys have some interesting psychic abilities. They tend to possess others to do the dirty work and live in the sea. This is really cool for a sea-dwelling creature. It's got like a slickness to its paint job. Multiple tentacles. It's opening its mouth, ready to consume its prey. I like how it turned out. It looks really cool. And then for the biggest of the big, we have about 5 more of these. Huge. One of my personal favorites. It comes with the removable wings, you can see. You have to glue these on yourself, like you usually do with dragons. This is a young blue dragon. And I really love the expression here, the pose, the dynamic energy of this. It's like flying upwards while also kind of reeling back, almost going to breathe something at the players. It's really cool. I love how they just love the pose they chose. It's really cool. And then a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Simple dinosaur, but still really cool that you can have dinosaurs in Dungeons and Dragons. They got the little kind of bumps and grooves on its scaly skin and uneven tones. It's really cool that they managed to put the detail into these figures, even for something as simple as a T-Rex. And then from a different mythology entirely, we have a Kieran. So I thought it was really cool to see this. I didn't even know they had Kieran in D&D, but again, very golden scales, this majestic flowing mane. You almost get the feeling that this is a monster you would want to fight. You want to have it on your side. That's up to the DM. Overall, they do a great job of striking this majestic figure with the Kieran's pose. And this guy's really cool too, a Nightwalker. Some kind of creature of shadow. What I love about this one is you can see where the light hits it, it's got like trails of some kind of shadow magic. It's like a dark midnight blue to contrast with the black. It's really cool how they did that and gave it some kind of mystical property. It's not just some kind of giant demon coming to kill you. It's a giant demon with some kind of power you don't really want to mess with and make your players think twice when you pull this guy out. And this comical guy here, a Flail Snail. It's a giant snail. It's got like maces for tendrils. I'm sure there's some kind of weird D&D story as to where this thing comes from. But overall, it's a comical but still very deadly looking creature. It even has, I love this, a little slime trail on the base. Wizkids did a great job, again, I've said this 1,000 times, but capturing the details on these monsters, how they move, the kind of poses they would do, any kind of energies or magic they carry with them, like this guy's floating on a little tornado of water. And nowhere can you really see some of the greater details in this set, but with this dire troll. This thing, it's a troll, but then it also is like, for some reason, fused together. There's multiple heads coming out of it. One's coming out of the back. It's got different arms. Like, I don't know what the story behind dire trolls are, but if I saw this as a player, I would immediately be hooked on this battle and wonder what this thing is, what it can do, and why it is this way. And this disturbing troll is the last of the preview sets we have. There's 45 of these figures in the Fangs Talons blind box set. And many of these things you can see here are part of the blind box set for Fang and Talon. Those are coming out November 11th. For $16.99, you'll get one box, and it'll have either one large or huge creature, something of this size, and then 3 small to medium creatures, so things like the Tabaxi Fighter or the Slod Host. You have 3 of those with one of these big guys for $16.99. That's a pretty good deal, I think, especially with the quality of these figures. The random factor is going to have you hunting. Some people like that, some people don't, but that's how it is. On the other side of that, Purple Worm comes by itself. That's a $49.99 purchase. You get this big boy to terrorize your players with. And then the new Icons of the Realms, which are the new player character figures, these are going to be $7.99, and all of these will be available at your favorite local game store or online retailers like Amazon and other places where you get your board game supplies. Also check thegamer.com. I'll be writing a couple articles, maybe some close-up images of these guys, just to kind of show what the play experience is like, maybe get a little better look at the ones that you thought were really awesome. Check on them. I do recommend the set. I think a lot of them have great details, and they're just going to really freak out your players or just terrify them when you plop one of these bad boys down on top of the table. Give a comment if there's anything else you want to see in the next video, any other products you'd like highlighted, and thank you for watching.